Week one, it's Jets-Ravens at MetLife Stadium. Gang green, you gotta know your enemy. Ken McKusick of FilmstudyRavens.com is here to talk about Ravens personnel and schemes. We're gonna jump into this film room with you, Ken. We're all friends here till Sunday. So the number one storyline of this game is all about the Jets quarterback, Joe Flacco, who you guys are familiar with down in Baltimore. He gets the week one nod. How do you think the Ravens D matches up against Flacco and the Jets offense?
Yeah, Joe Flacco certainly has some specific weaknesses as a quarterback. Still got tremendous arm talent. We love that about him in Baltimore. Get him moving to his moving to his left has been the problem. Problem for a lot of left-handed quarterbacks in general, right-handed quarterbacks in general. But when quarterbacks move to their left and they're right-handed, they have a hard time resetting their feet. Joe Flacco had tremendous problems with that in Baltimore. When he was here, they ran a lot of boots to create time and space from him, and that's what Joe really needs. And I think that if the Ravens are not on that and aware of it, that's a potential for throws at any of three levels. And the Jets, of course, have a very talented wide receiver group. What I'm really looking forward to is how the Ravens line up against Flacco, and the Jets with three talented receivers already may have more depth than the Ravens can handle. I know that the Jets ran some 10 last year. They could be a team that can put more wide receivers on the field than the Ravens can effectively cover. So that is a concern I would have. The Ravens have a third safety they drafted in the first round, Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. Should be a tremendous playmaker. We've seen all sorts of things in the preseason that would indicate he plays a lot faster than his speed, has tremendous ball instincts. And I think he'll be on the field a lot as a third safety in a combination of big nickel packages and used in the dime area, replacing the weak side linebacker effectively. So I think we'll see him a lot underneath, and he could be kind of an X factor for this defense.
I listened to one of your podcasts, and you had said that the Ravens are thin at outside linebacker. The Jets have Breece Hall, Michael Carter in that backfield. How do you see the Ravens linebackers neutralizing that Jets running game?
Yeah, it's potentially a concern, and against the run, I think it's a worse problem than against the pass. Against the pass, I'm more concerned. The Ravens don't have a Sam linebacker, and that can be very hard to find. They're unicorn-like in the NFL. Tyus Bowser, one of the really good ones, if not the best in the NFL in terms of being able to drop to cover. The Ravens will have to make up for that from linebacker to handle a lot of their coverage. But your question was about the run, and in terms of how they deal with the run, I'd say the Ravens are very effective at stretching out the run. They have good run fit safeties in either Clark or Hamilton, the players that know how to get in there and mix it up. They've always had good downhill play from slot corner as well, so I'd be looking forward to that to help stop the run. I'm much more concerned about the Jets receiving core and how whether or not the Ravens defensive backs can hold up to that.
Yeah, Marcus Peters comes back. Marlon Humphrey is obviously a dog out there. That's going to be the matchup. Can Flacco get and spread the ball out to his dangerous receivers? So let's Riverside, like we say at football practices. Let's flip it. Let's talk about the Ravens offense. Lamar Jackson has no proven number one receiver in this offense. The Ravens receivers and tight ends are matching up against Sauce Gardner and gang. Who wins this matchup?
Yeah, it's a good matchup for the Jets, certainly. We saw in the last preseason game that Demarcus Robinson brought an element to the Ravens offense they hadn't had before, really a guy who can wiggle at the top of the route and get free. He had an out and go and a sluggo he ran, and I really love seeing that. A guy who doesn't have to have just a number one move to get free. He really has two moves, and they were equally good, bitten on badly, admittedly, by guys who are no longer in the NFL. But they got down the field effectively and got free for a couple of long throws by 5 yards each time. So I like that. I think he'll have a fairly large role in terms of what he does on the outside. And, the Jets cornerbacks are certainly very talented. The Ravens passing offense mostly runs through tight end. However, you'll see a lot of 12 and 13 packages from this offense and a lot of using the middle of the field. When he does go to other receivers, it's often on an extended play. Without Marquise Brown, we'll see how the connection he develops with Bateman. Now, I think one will have to develop naturally. He's got a relationship with Likely and Andrews at tight end that is very good. I think Likely, the fourth-round tight end out of Coastal Carolina, will be a guy that they mix into the offense fairly liberally on Sunday. So we'll see how that goes.
Ken, I could talk football with you all day. Unfortunately, this is digital. We got to cut this thing short. But if you want to talk some football or even see Ken, you can check him out at FilmstudyRavens and at FilmstudyRavens.com. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks a lot.